and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today for event day for peer-to-peer fundraising events. Chris is going to get started in just one moment, but a couple of quick housekeeping notes off the top. We are recording this session and we will send out the recording along with slides tomorrow. So if you want to go back to anything, that should be pretty easy. Additionally, if you have any questions, there should be a questions module in your GoToWebinar setup. Usually that's on the right-hand side of your screen. You can put in questions at any time during the webinar and we'll either answer them in writing throughout the webinar or we'll ask them at the end. If we have something really specific that needs a little bit more time, then we'll follow up with you after. I think that is it. If you want to take it off, Chris.
Sure. Thanks, Johanna, and thanks for joining us today for event day for peer-to-peer fundraising events. As Johanna mentioned, I'm Chris Newcomer with GiveSignup. So if you already use our tools, I probably reached out to you to see if you needed help with your peer-to-peer fundraising tools, or if you're just learning about RunSignup and GiveSignup, you may have heard from me asking about your events and how to see if you wanted to connect to talk about how our tools can help your event. So today we're going to talk specifically about the tools we use the day of events. But before we jump right into that, we're going to talk first a little bit about who we are. So we are, RunSignup and GiveSignup and TicketSignup. We are event technology experts. Our mission is to make it free and easy for nonprofits to generate more revenue, grow their events, and engage their attendees. We create free and easy to use event software that you fully control. To date, we've actually helped customers raise $2.3 billion, which is an insane number. That's so cool. Currently, we help over 28,000+ events using our platform. Although, from what I understand, a little birdie told me that number is also going up. So very exciting. For today's agenda, we're going to go over how you can use pre-event communication for your attendees to make things run more smoothly. We're going to go over doing participant check-in using the check-in app. We're going to go over volunteer check-in. We're going to go over on-site registration, which also can now include Apple Pay, which we've recently added this year. We're also going to go over a post-event checklist. And then I'm going to end with a few customer examples of folks who are using our day of tools, our check-in app, and what have you. So we're using a demo event for today's webinar, and our main demo event is a cycling fundraiser with a century ride, a timed 50-mile ride, and an untimed 5-mile loop. So first, as I said, we're going to talk about pre-event communications. Now, when people sign up for your event, they're going to get an automatic registration email that's going to provide them with their QR code and all their information about your event. But it's a good idea in the days leading up to your event to schedule an email to go out that includes that QR code and the event info. We're also going to talk about how an FAQ on your website will also make your life truly a million times better. Cool. Let me go on to the next. So for that pre-event email, there's important details to include. You want to include the event date, the location, fundraising progress, event details, but probably the most important thing is that QR code, because we can use that QR code with the check-in app to scan people in for your event. So when you are in our email platform, so you're in Email V2 and Send Email, you're going to use the placeholders dropdown, which you can see in this screen right here, and you go down to links and QR codes. And there's one for registration ID barcode, and that will drop in their QR code so that they're able to just present that right on their phone and they can get scanned right in. So that email will definitely make things smoother on event day. And you can see over here what that would look like. That will come to my email like this. It says packet pickup details. There's my QR code and more details about where and when the event is. Now, an FAQ page on your website, I truly have this conversation almost every day, sometimes multiple times a day with fundraiser events. It's just a great way for you to get ahead of questions you're going to get asked a lot. And so you can include basic information about your event or any potential questions. And we would all suggest continue to expand your FAQ as you get repeat customer service questions. Now, specifically for fundraising events, this is a great place to tell folks how they can edit their fundraiser if they're confused about that, where they can share it out. Or I've seen a lot of events use the FAQ page to provide their fundraisers with templated language. So you already provide them with default fundraiser message on your page, but if you give them language, if they're sharing it out via email or something like that, you can up their fundraising game by giving them more tools and more leverage to talk to their friends and family to help raise more money for your event, which is pretty awesome. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about event day check-in. We'll talk about how you can download the app and find your event. We're going to go over some check-in configurations for the 5 Mile Loop timed event and the Century Ride untimed event. And we're going to lock the check-in app at one point, and then we're also going to go over stats. So first, we're going to talk about the check-in app. So you'll go on the back end of your event, and you can go to the menu search. That's if no one has told you about menu search on the dashboard, that's going to be a wonderful thing for you to learn today. It's on the upper left-hand side of your race dashboard, and it searches by word for the menu you're looking for. So if you just look in check-in, it'll pull that up. So you're going to go to event, check-in, and then mobile app, and you can add a password. Then you can download the Race Day Check-in app from the Apple or Android store. Once you've done that and you've opened it, you can see over here, this has got the event right open right here. You'll search for your event name and enter the password in step 1. So the event we're doing is Pedal for Pets. I can see it here, but I'll just show you how it will come right up. Wonderful. And I can see the password we've set is RunSignup123. Super secure, obviously. No, you might want to put a more secure password than that on this, but for these purposes, for this demo event, that works great. So I'm logging in, I'm getting the race information. It's asking me if I want to use a previous configuration. I could do that, but because I want to show you how to set up a configuration, I'm going to not do that for now. So you can see, I can see everyone who is signed up for all our 3 different events right here, already ready to go. But before we start signing folks in, we're going to set some presets. Presets control the info we see when viewing a registration. We can use them to assign bibs. We can display linked registrations. We can allow information changes, event transfers, and uncheck-ins, things like that. We're also going to go over configurations. Configurations are how we apply those presets to certain events. So we could set up one for the 5 Mile Loop that works just for that, one for the Century Ride that works just for that, and make sure our overall configuration applies only the presets to the specific events that we want. We can also do display options as well. So I can say, hey, I don't want to see this other event while I'm in here. So let's create a preset. So you can see over here, I've got my my list of participants. So I'm going to come and click on the gear icon, and that's going to open the settings menu, and I can see event presets, race configurations, and my device settings. If I were to click the arrow, it would take me over to event presets I've already created, but we're going to create one that's new. So let's press the plus button. I'm going to call this one 5 Mile Loop. Don't mind as I go silent as I type. That just helps my brain work. I'm a simple guy. So then we're going to also go through the check-in steps that we need to add to this. So we've got the 5 Mile Loop. For this one, I think we said this one is timed, so we're going to require that a bib number gets assigned. I'm not worried about a group bib number, just an individual one. If they've not signed a waiver, I can require that waiver. And I want to see the related registrations for this event as well. I want to see people you are connected to either via your transaction or even your same fundraiser team. So if you come up with all your fundraising buddies, we can see you all at once. And then for information displays, I can see name, event, checked-in status, bib number. I also want to see the fundraiser details. This is super handy if someone's getting checked in and I see someone has met or gone past their fundraising goal. I can simply just congratulate them and thank them. Or say I've got fundraising incentives that they have earned. I can give it to them right then and there. I can say, oh, you've met your $300 fundraising goal. Here's the beanie that you earned that you knew about from the incentives that we've been telling you about. So very cool way to use those. So I think that's all the information I want to see on that one. And then for information changes, it automatically has checked allow uncheck-ins. That's a handy thing to have. But I'm also going to allow event transfers so people can switch from other events right in the app as they're checking in. I'm going to click save on that. And here I have the option to save it locally to my phone. So it would just be on this app on my phone, or I can sync it globally so that everyone who is checking folks in will have an update to this preset. So I'm going to sync it globally since I'm the race director in this demo. My preset is created. It's asking me if I want to create a configuration now. I don't just yet. I want to create one more preset, and then we will create our configuration. So don't create. I'm going to go back to event presets. I'm going to name this one Century Ride. And for this one, for the check-in steps, they're not going to time the Century Ride, so I'm going to leave bib number optional. Still going to require a waiver, and I'm still going to see the related registration, same fundraiser team. Information display, I still want to see that fundraiser details. No, I don't want to save it just yet. Hold on. And then I also want to information changes. I do want to allow check-ins, and for this one, yeah, why not? We'll allow event transfers as well. We'll keep it nice and fluid, and I'll hit save on that. Once again, I'm going to sync that globally so that everyone who has this event on the app will have the same update I'm creating right now. And now I can create a configuration to match those two things. So it's going to take me right back to this, and I can see those race configurations. I can add a plus button, and I can call this configuration. Let's call this one fundraising. Is there anything more stressful than spelling on your phone on a webinar? Great. And so then down here under event presets, I can apply the default presets I've created. So for the Century Ride, I can choose Century Ride. You see I've done this a couple times. And on the 5-mile loop, I can add 5-mile loop. And then for the 50-mile ride, I could leave it as default, or I could apply one of those presets that so say I like the same rules I liked for 5-mile loop, could apply to 50-mile ride as well. I could go ahead and do that, and I think I will. And then if I wanted to hide that 50-mile ride, since we haven't done much with it, I would just simply click this and I wouldn't see those participants. For now, though, I'll leave it unhidden. General options, just more things for you to look at if you wanted to, hide checked-in participants, auto show the camera in kiosk mode, different things for you to look at. But as you can see, it makes it so that you can really customize the experience of check-in. So it works specifically for your organization, for your event, even down to how it works for, the person who's checking folks in. So say they want it to work a different way for them, you can help them do that as well. So I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit sync, and I'm going to select this configuration. Okay, configuration created. Now we can see my current configuration is fundraising, which is great. So now that we've got that configured and all set up, we're going to check some people in. We're going to do a little demo of how it would work to check folks in. So I can see all these folks who are here. There are a couple of ways that I can do that. So someone comes up and they have forgotten this email that we see right here. They don't have that available to show us. They've just given us their name. So we can say, okay, well then I'm going to look up Buster Bluth. And hold on, if I spell Buster correctly, that would work better. There we go. Buster Bluth is right there. So I can see that for Buster, I have a lot of options because we've made it so that he can change events. I can change his event right here. I can move him right to the 50-mile ride or the 5-mile loop. I can also see his fundraiser team. He was on Team Hamilton. I can see that he's raised $250. I can see that he's 83% of the way there to his goal. So I can say, you almost did it, you're doing great. Or if there's some incentive that went with that, I would be able to give him that incentive. For now, let's change his event and then let's check him in. So let's change Buster to the 5-mile loop, transfer successful. And then I could just go back and just transfer him and not check him in, but I want to check him in. So I'm going to hit save and continue. And Buster Bluth is checked in for the 5-mile loop. So the other way that we can check somebody in is, as we said, scanning that QR code. So I'm going to scan the QR code that's right here on the screen. Let's do that again. Hold on. Oh, it's not finding the registration, of course. Let's try that one more time. Hold on. Well, unfortunately, it's not reading it. Read it earlier, but I'll show you the person that I'm trying to scan in. I think my screen must have done something to the QR code, but that's okay. We can check in that person this way. We've got them right here. Their name is Norma Desmond. They're on Team Clio. And we can change their event. We can check them in, and I can see with them as well. I can assign them that bib number because they're in an event that requires that. So let's assign them bib number 123. I'm getting Norma to sign the waiver, which she didn't do, so good job, Norma. And then I can also see all the same people who are on Norma's team. So I can sign all those people all in at once, or I can just sign Norma in. It's up to me, up to me if I want to do that, or up to them if they want everyone signed in all at the same time. Let's just check in Norma for now, and we'll hit save and continue. And there we go. So we've got Norma signed in, we got Buster signed in. And I think maybe I just did something to that QR code, so it's because it's on the screen, but normally that should work to let folks pull up their registration as well. So now we're going to talk about how you can lock the check-in app. So if you have volunteers who also will be downloading and using this, the check-in app, we want to be able to make sure that they can see what they need to see, but maybe not see more than they need to see. So once you've helped them download the check-in app, you can lock the app into the configuration you have on their phone. So you're going to click that little 3 menu button up in the upper left-hand side. You see where it says lock race. And here I can put in a 4-digit number to lock this event. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here I also have the option to hide the check-in stats from the volunteers. So there may be an instance where you don't want them to have all that data. You just want them to be able to check people in, and that's it. And that's the case, you click hide check-in stats. I do want to be able to see them, so I'm not going to hide them for right now. But all I would do is click lock race. Now the race is locked. If I want to unlock the race, I just come right back here, click unlock race, and 1, 2, 3, 4. It's done again. So nice and easy that way. And we were just talking about check-in stats. You can see check-in stats in a couple of places. You can see them on web check-in on the back end of your event, where you can see the number of participants who've checked in. You can see them based on each event that is logged in using the check-in app, which is really cool. So if you want to give out a little special award for the person who checked in the most people, you'd be able to see who did that using their phone. And you can also see it over on the check-in app on your phone itself. So I'll show you that now too. I'm going to click here, check-in stats, and now I can see all the participants who've been checked in for all events, and down here for specific events as well. So the check-in app is super handy for stats also. Now we're going to talk a little bit about volunteer check-in. So it's going to be kind of a similar thing in that you'll want to send those volunteers a reminder email leading up to your event, reminding them of what they have agreed to do for you. And then we'll go over how to use the volunteer check-in app to check them in and where you can see those volunteer check-in stats. So we have a whole fully robust volunteer platform that you can set up lots of different tasks for volunteers to choose. We're not going to go over that right now. We're just going to go over the ones you're going to use for event day. So for the volunteer email, you can go in to just our email v2 and send email and choose all volunteers, which is going to be a preloaded email list that's already right there, or you can do it based on task. I can see volunteer task for packet pickup, volunteer for task pre-event setup, so I can get granular with the messaging I'm sending out as well. But then I can send out to them, remind them where their task is, what they're doing, and get them where they need to be. So let's show you how we can check those volunteers in. So we're going to switch from participant mode on the check-in app to volunteer check-in. I'm going to select the configuration I have, which is volunteer. Great. So yes, I can set a preset for this one as well. This one is less sort of bells and whistles for you to hide. It's more about setting a preset that shows the amount of information that one can see. So let's say we're creating a task preset for volunteers. We'll call this one volunteer as well. I can spell volunteer correctly. There we go. And so for volunteer display, this is where I can choose what people are seeing as they're checking volunteers in. So say I really only want them to see the assigned task, the person's name and email, but I don't want to give out their phone number, I can hide that as well. So let's hit save on that. And I'm going to sync that to the cloud and create that configuration. So that is now our current, and I'll add that configuration here. So we'll call that volunteer. One day I'll be able to spell on a webinar, but it's not today. And then we'll go to task presets. I can choose for each of these, we'll choose volunteer. very similar to what we did for participant check-in. And then I can see if there's any tasks I want to hide, I can hide them here. Let's hit save on that and sync it, and then select. Great. Configuration is created and been applied. So now when I go back, I can see all the folks who have signed up to volunteer. We've got, once again, Norma Desmond, very active for this event. She loves animals, we know. We got George Newcomer, Chris Newcomer, lots of other fake people, fictional people here to volunteer. And if I wanted to check in, let's check in Norma Desmond for her finish line. I can just click check in, and there she is. And I'm back to the volunteer list, and she's there. So nice and easy. Now, if I wanted to look at volunteer stats, I'd go back to the website, go back to my laptop, and I can see the volunteer listing there, and I can see who is checked in from that report. I can also add in, if we've asked those volunteers any questions, I can also see on that report any questions they might have answered that I might want to see. Great. Now we're going to talk a little bit about how to handle on-site registration. You know, obviously in an ideal world, people are signing up a month before and they're spending that month fundraising millions of dollars for you. But in the world we live in, oftentimes people are, you know, doing things last minute. So we do want to be able to give them options to sign up for things more last minute or even day of. So fast registration is a great way to handle that. So that's something where you basically enable a shortened registration process for like the day before and the day of, or just the day of your event. So you can find this under race, registration, fast registration options, and you can just skip fields that aren't as important on event day. You know, you can skip whether or not you need someone's whole street address, whether or not they need to become a fundraiser because they're not probably going to fundraise all that much if your event is ending that day. And it just makes it easy and fast for people to sign up on site, and it makes your life as an event director much, much easier. We also recommend having these up and about on event day, these QR codes and quick texts. So this is a way so people who, they won't necessarily even have to come bother you to figure out how to sign up, because they can scan a QR code, which they know how to do now from having survived the pandemic and gone to restaurants. And they can scan that QR code, it will take them directly to the sign up page. Or they can use our quick text, which will, you know, they text a quick 5-digit number, and that will send them the link to the sign up as well. This reduces lines. People like using their phones because their credit card info is saved, not just saved on their phone, because we now accept Apple Pay, which has been such a great game changer. And so many folks have Apple Pay, which is just like a little, you know, digital wallet for your credit cards. And it makes it really easy and free for people to sign up, and once again, clears up any sort of line hassle. Cool. This is what that would look like. So I'll show you on my phone. I'm going to scan this. Now let's see if this QR code is going to be rude to me as well. Let's try. Look at that, right into sign up. So that's beautiful. So I can just come right in here and I can sign up for the event right from this QR code, which is awesome. Same would happen as if I texted those 5-digit numbers, I would get the same link. Now, if you want to provide one further step of the ability for folks to sign up on the day of, you can do complete on-site registration, which will allow you to accept cash payments and allow people to sign in. So you'll accept the cash, but the people will be providing your information. So they'll give you the cash, and then you'll have a shared device that will require that you put a password in to say, hey, we received this cash payment. This person will not be charged any credit card charges, and they'll be able to sign in as well. So you can set up, very similar to the fast registration, you can set up on here, you know, what data fields you want. So you can also keep that kind of a shorter sign up process. And then you'll want to create a password for the person who's monitoring that device to enter in, so that when folks are signing up in that on-site way, they'll be able to say, okay, I counted all the money. I know they've given me the $250 they owe us for this registration, and I can let them sign in using this device. And here, I'll show you with this QR code how that works as well. Great, so it's taking me right here. So let's say I'm registering me. We'll say I'm Chris. Oldcomer, there we go. That's a new one we haven't used before. Perfect. We'll use Chris at GiveSignup.org, which incidentally, if you have questions about our fundraising tools, you can reach out to me there as well, Chris at GiveSignup.org, and I'll be happy to help you. I'm going to approximate my year of birth, which of course is 1993. We all know I am 30 years old. Gender male, great. And then I'm going to select the Century ride. Now I could add another registrant if I'm paying for both of us, but for now, since it's just this one, I'll go through the waiver, check the waiver, and I'll hit continue. And here's where the person monitoring the device will come in and they will put in the password for offline payment. Oh, my phone is trying to suggest that I create a password. No, thank you. I can put in sign up 123, which is the password we've created for that. Oh, I put in the wrong one. Hold on, let me try that one more time. My fingers are too big for typing on a phone. And I think that's what this has taught me. There we go. So I've got the right password in there. And so now that event, I paid the $250 in cash. The person has approved that. Now I can confirm that payment, and my registration is being saved, and then I will get that email telling me that I'm registered, and I can come on through having registered right on race day, which is super handy. Now we're going to talk a little bit about things that are part of your post-event checklist that we think are great and important to do. For a fundraising event, you really do want to make sure that fundraising first results are what you're displaying, so people are always able to see how much they fundraised. So under individual fundraiser display settings, you have the ability to make sure that, click this box to say, the fundraiser's progress meter will show on the individual results page. So it's really, we're showing them their fundraising progress wherever they can see it, so that it's saving you to have to say, oh, you have to go here to see your fundraiser progress. Super handy there. And photos are also a great way to show folks what a great time you had and to honor their experience there. We have an incredible photo system that will track people's bib numbers. So once you upload those photos, it will tag those photos to the people who have been assigned that bib number, which is really, really exciting. So folks will, without having to, go searching for themselves, will be like, oh, here are my photos that are associated with me and this event that I took part in, which people love. And then, of course, you want to send a post-event email thanking people for coming. This is a great opportunity, yes, to thank people, to give your sponsors another chance to be featured, but also to feature your upcoming events. You can see for this one, they're sending out an email and saying, join us for Beer Fest, join us for our gala. So all these opportunities to both, show gratitude, but also market the upcoming ways that people can support you even further, because they've already shown that they care about your organization. Now, if you are a fundraising event that has chosen to require a minimum and that you've let people know that, hey, we're going to save your credit card information and we are going to charge you the difference. So we do have that ability. But beyond having that ability, we can also give you sort of multiple steps on the way to do that. Because I think that you could probably agree that just hitting people immediately with that credit card charge if they don't meet the minimum, like right after the event, can feel a little jarring. And in fact, people who are surprised by a credit card fee they maybe don't remember or don't think about, they can do a chargeback. So that can be, not the best practice. We have tools that let you invoice people, email people, remind them that they have agreed to meet that. And then if finally they don't do it, you can let them know, hello, we are going to charge you. Don't be alarmed, whatever. You can communicate with them so that they're well aware of what is about to happen. So I have a few customers I wanted to highlight that I think have done a great job using the check-in app and other things to make their event days better. The first one is the Coney Island Polar Bear Plunge, which is a first time on the event with us, first time on the site with us this year. And they've done a great job. They checked in over 3,000 people in four hours. I actually watched it on January 1st. It was very exciting to see. And as you can see, they had all these different people checking folks in. So you can see all the different data they have from all their different devices and checking people in, which I think is so cool. And for them, a big point of coming over was the ability to see fundraiser details in check-in, because they give out their incentives on the day of the event. So as they're checking people in, they're giving those folks their long sleeve shirt, their beanie, their beach towel, because the info is right there. That also allows fundraisers to keep fundraising up until, the hour of the event even. I mean, you get to choose when, but I mean, I think it's really great and handy to be able to continue to offer folks the ability to fundraise and not have to cut them off the day before or a couple days before. And these folks raised $125,000 this year, which is so exciting. Another customer that does a great job with the check-in app is the Mountain to Desert Classic, which is a big cycling event out west. They've been using our software since 2021. They use it to check in cyclists over the different legs of this longer ride. And so this is also like a safety and security thing. So you can set it up so that you're checking folks in at each leg, and that way you're making sure that everybody is present and accounted for, which is certainly an important thing on these sort of more intensive bike rides. And they raised over $100,000 last year, and they had less than 150 participants, which is also really incredible. And finally, I wanted to highlight 100 Holes for the Homeless, which is a fundraiser for Wheeler Mission. This is their 5th year on the site, and they raised a great $75,000. They also require that their golfers meet a $1,000 fundraising minimum. I just really like that they use the check-in app to keep track of the different events they have and different types of golfers they have. So we can see they checked in 6 single golfers, they checked in 31 team golfers, and then they checked in their 1 celebrity golfer. So 100% of the celebrity golfers are there because there was only 1 of them, and he is all checked in. So I don't know who that celebrity is, but I'm just going to guess that it was someone very famous and wonderful who likes to play golf. But other than that, I think that is all we have for you today on this overview of the event day tools. We can go for any questions that Johanna didn't answer that we missed. Yeah, Johanna, do we have any questions?
So far, just one that I think we've gotten to, so I'll give it just a second. But if we have no one else coming in, then I think we may be good. If anyone does come up with any questions after we close this too, you can always reply to the invite email, and that'll go to me, and we'll get you an answer that way as well.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that looks like it.
Okay. Well, then I guess we have time for that song you wanted to do, Johanna. Go ahead. I'm kidding. You don't have. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. It was great to go through the check-in app. If you do have questions, as Johanna mentioned, reach back out to us. We'll be happy to talk further.
Hey, Kevin, if I enjoyed that video and I wanted to express that in some way, how would I do that?
I think you can like and subscribe to the channel and maybe comment any questions that you may have.
And if I wanted to watch another video with information that I may or may not know?
So you can click some of these other videos that we recommend to watch. Are they here? Here?